Oh, hi there, everyone. Welcome back to insidetracks.co.uk. It's been a little while since I've launched a video. Been having a few issues myself, but I thought I would do a specific issue which has been raised with me time and again when I always point out when I'm giving my selections that the course is a very important factor. In fact, I generally speak about with certain courses, if the horse has not got some kind of decent record at that course, it's unlikely to get my vote for a selection. And I'm trying to say to you that the old saying, horses for courses, actually does exist. And I'll show you why with an example right now. If you do like this video, please like it and subscribe if you want to hear about any other videos that I do. We also have a newsletter which you can subscribe to on the insidetracks.co.uk website. So let's have a look at Battaash. And one of the things that you'll hear about Battaash is there's two things that Battaash stand out in Battaash's career. The first is well, the most important thing is that Battaash, by official ratings and by his record, is considered as the most talented sprinter that there ever has been. But there are two things he doesn't have. The first thing is that he doesn't have the world record. He's not the fastest ever. He's not been clocked as the fastest 5-furlong horse ever. His record is rather tarnished, unlike someone like Frankel's, who wins all the way. Battaash only won one out of his 5 races at Ascot, and that is because both those two reasons, and both those things stand out because of the courses in this country. And I'm now going to show you very quickly the 5 fastest 5-furlong in Britain and the 5 slowest, so that you can see some good reasons why they are so different, and therefore horses react differently to them. So let's get on with it. I'll run through them quite quickly because you haven't got time, and I don't want to make this video too long. So let's look at the first one. If I can get this to go. No, sorry. The first one, the fastest 5-furlong tracks in the UK is Epsom, and it's known as the Dash, and it is straight, as you can see down below here, and you can also see it says downhill. There is a very slight uphill, but mainly it's downhill all the way. And the world record for 5 furlongs has taken part here, and it is 53.69 seconds. So that's the fastest 5 furlongs ever run in the world, and it's run at Epsom. So you say, well, why doesn't Battaash hold that record? And the answer is they don't run very many 5 furlongs at Epsom, and they certainly don't run group races at Epsom. In fact, the race I'm talking about, which is the Dash, which is the best 5-furlong race at Epsom, I think is only a Group 4. So we're really talking about the fact that the fastest 5 furlongs in the country actually happens on a decent course where we run the Derby, but they run very few 5 furlongs there, and it's a very specialised 5 furlongs, and it's run for horses that are not group class. The second fastest 5 furlongs is Brighton, in fact. It might surprise you, it's Brighton, but it's run over 5 furlongs and 60 yards, and it's about 1 second slower than Epsom, but that's on adjusted time. So we adjust the 5 furlongs and 60 back to 5 furlongs, we come out with a 1 second slower. So Epsom really is a very, very fast track. Brighton is the second fastest. It's quick because of the initial steep descent, and it comes down. It's very, 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 very slight uphill, and then it's a very, very steep downhill as you come through. And sorry, it's this way. So you go that way, downhill, and then it's very slight uphill to the finish. Excuse me for that. So really, it's a very quick. It's not quite straight, as you can see. There's certain slight curve, but that downhill is very steep, and the uphill, basically they hardly notice it because they're going so fast on the way down. So steep initial descent before a slightly climbing final furlong, which they're going so fast they don't really notice. So Brighton is the second fastest. Third fastest, surprised me, this is Slowest. And that's because it's flat and smooth with no ridges. And it can be very quick on good ground or better. The reason why it surprises me, I suppose, is because it's very rarely better ground than good at Slowest, because it gets all that rain. But if you do find Slowest on good to firm or firm, it will be a very quick race, and it will suit a very fast, power-packed. Battaash would win on firm ground at Slowest, no doubt about it. So that's so if you've got Slowest, good to firm or firm, and you've got a power-packed 5-furlong horse that's got real good speed, it's real speedy type, it will win. Again, I'm going to race through it slightly now because fourth is Redcar. Doesn't surprise me. I've always looked for front-running types at Redcar. They have to be pretty prominent at Redcar, and with good early speed to get themselves out to being prominent. It's flat and smooth, no ridges, so it's really quite a nice course. Straight as a die as well. So very, very good course really for sprinters, particularly those that have a good power-packed early speed and want to go along at a really good clip. And then finally, Lingfield, not the all-weather, but the turf track. Again, it's a straight 5-furlong course downhill most of the way. It's not a big downhill, but it is downhill most of the way. And the low-drawn horses are better at Lingfield as well. So if you can get out in front again at Lingfield on the stands rail, you're in for a good ride. And this informs a lot of what I tip, because on these courses, on these courses, you know if you're on a Redcar or a Lingfield and your horse has a lot of early pace and does like to clip along at a really good pace in front, then if they're at Redcar and Lingfield, they're very much a back to lay proposition, because you know they're going to get out, you know they're going to get flat, you know they're going to go downhill, and you know they're going to be difficult to catch. So knowing these facts about 5-furlong tracks does inform a lot of the trading that you could do, particularly back to laying. So the next 5 courses I'm going to show you are the slowest, and I was a bit surprised about this, but I suppose I shouldn't have been. Beverley is the slowest 5 furlongs in the country. You come from out of this chute, as you probably all know. Those horses that are drawn high are drawn downhill out this part, and those that are drawn low are up on this near rail, or sorry, far rail there, going up that rail on the inside. So you actually find that low numbers are uphill of those drawn high, and therefore have an advantage. They also have a slight dog leg, which can also give them an advantage. So low drawn horses are very well known to have an advantage at Beverley, but it is a test of stamina, and particularly in soft conditions, you do find horses coming out the pack and overtaking those have made a good start. So again, this informs quite a lot of my back to lay betting. If I see a very quick horse low drawn on the 5-furlong track, and it's good to firm or firm, I reckon they're going to get out, and they're going to be very, very difficult to peg back, even though they're going up the hill. In the soft, it's more difficult, and it's not as pronounced, but it's still there. Next is Pontefract. Pontefract's a very slow course. Why? Actually, there's quite a sort of a lot of there are a lot of ridges and so on at Pontefract, so horses can't get easily into a good strong gallop. They're going uphill 1 minute, they're going downhill the next, then they're going uphill again, then they've got to go around the bend, and then they're going uphill again at the end. So what you find is actually nippy horses are quite good at Pontefract. Those that can get out in front and be prominent is actually more important. So drawn low, I've set up here, being drawn low can be an advantage. It's not, but if you're not quick and you don't get prominent, then forget it. It doesn't matter where you're drawn. Being prominent, therefore, it is more important. In the soft, sometimes what we find is that instead of coming down and going round and up that far rail, they come down and cut across here and go up this near rail. So in the soft, you can actually get some horses that are drawn wide, get prominent, and then lead the horses across. And what you find then is then they kind of play catch me if you can up the hill, and sometimes that's a bit of an advantage. So Pontefract, you need to look out for the draw. You need to look out for your horse being prominent, and you need to look out for the going. But it is a slow 5 furlongs, and you know it's got a stiff climb towards the finish. But quite often, when it's good to firm or firm, you'll find that the commentator goes, well, not a lot got into that, or the first 3 going around the bend were the first 3 coming home, because being prominent is really very important. Next one is Ascot. Surprised me this, but this is the reason why Battash actually has only won 1 out of 5 at Ascot. It's because it's actually a slow, galloping, straight uphill finish. And that hasn't suited Battash. He's kind of run out of steam, and it's actually quite good for those horses that are more like 5.5 furlongs or 6 furlong horses going to Ascot, particularly if the going is good or worse. So it's straight galloping with an uphill finish. It's very difficult to front run. That's what Battash would want to do. Want to go out and blitz them. And actually, what you find is it's very difficult to front run and win at Ascot. It's one of the worst courses just statistically to front run and win. And having a good pace to aim at means that it can really suit hold-up horses over the sprint distances. So what you do find is horses coming from behind. They've had a nice toe into the race by something that's gone off at a mad dash. They haven't lasted home, and you've come and taken them in the last half furlong going up that hill. So that's what Ascot is. Sorry, excuse me. And then the final 2 are Sandown. Sandown has a big hill. If you've been to Sandown after the finish and going up round the top end of the track, up over here where the finish, the 5 furlongs is the highest point in the track on the track. So what you have is you have them starting off down here, and it's steady rise throughout. That's what it says there, and but it's totally straight, no undulations, and so it does actually suit quite often those that can get a good gallop on, but it does mean that trying to make all is quite difficult at Sandown. Chester, which you'd have gone, well, Chester, now, you'd think Chester was really quick. But actually, because it's a round course, and because you're coming from the 5 furlong start, it's 5 furlong, 16 yards, actually, you're actually from the start, for about 60% of the total race, you're going around that bend. And then when you get to the sort of more straight bit, the last couple of furlongs before the finish, then you will go hell for leather, trying to get round the outside of people. So it's round and totally flat, so therefore there's no undulation, so it should be quick, but 60% of the 5 furlongs is going round a bend, and the emphasis, as you can imagine, going round a bend is like going around an 800-meter course where you are not given a staggered start. Same with Chester. If you start off at stall 14, then you're going further than the horse drawn 1, because 60% of the race you're traveling further round because you're on the outside of the pack. unless you can get out and cut straight across. Actually, you've got to have blistering early speed to get you from that stall 14 across the front of the other 13 runners and onto the rails. So which rarely happens, can happen. I've seen it happen, but it rarely happens. So what you'd have to do from this 5 furlong start, if you're in 14, is cut right straight across there and getting out in front, and it just doesn't happen. So emphasis on early speed, but a low draw and early speed is the answer. And low draw actually generally outdoes early speed, unless you've got someone like a Richard Kingscote who knows this course like the back of his hand. He can get sometimes horses out from wide draws and into the front, but often then all they've done is they've just used up a lot of energy, and then they get overtaken coming to this last couple of furlongs. Again, the ground is very important here as well. Good to firm, and firm, very, very difficult to catch the one in front. Softer ground, you need something that has actually run well at Chester on soft ground if you are going to have the winner, or you need a soft ground specialist, because that makes the difference. The ground really does make the difference. Coming up this straight, you can see something from coming way off the pace in soft ground and coming to win it. So those are your 5 furlong courses. That's why it's horses for courses. It's why people say it, and it's why Battash, who is the undisputed, I think, sprinter, best sprinter ever. He only won one race out of 5 at Ascot because he wanted to be in front, and it's very, very difficult to front run there. And why he hasn't got the world record, which he probably should have, because he never actually ran at Epsom. So there you go. If you like what you've heard and it's given you some information and you want to get more information, then subscribe and you will be told when my next video comes out. Like it if you like it. Ask me any questions you want to, or you can come to Inside Tracks and find out how to contact me. If you want to get a newsletter which gives you hints and tips on the trading of the day, back delays and other good things, then please go to insidetracks.co.uk and subscribe there to the newsletter, and you'll get a 14-day trial, and hopefully you'll like it. Anyway, best of luck, and if you are trading, please do it carefully, don't extend yourself, and I wish you every luck.